Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Shazetta from Sarayu. Listen, I just wanted to check in with you guys. Man, look, I am in a creative slump. Forgive the shake. I'm not editing this video. I'm just choosing to go live with this content. I'm hoping somebody sees it. Not sure if you guys will or not. Sitting in my office space right now, my home office, COVID-19 is still doing its thing here in my city. I'm in Dallas, Texas. So the numbers are rising exponentially, and so I am among those who are at home, kind of sheltering in place. I go out from time to time, but never never just out among large groups of people or anything like that. But guys, look, I'm just wondering if anybody else is feeling what I'm feeling. Like, I can't blame it on the pandemic. I won't blame it on the pandemic. But the thing is, like, there's so much going on. And there's so many stories that could be told. Like, yes, I'm a photographer. Yes, I'm a filmmaker, but I am also, more than any of that, I'm a storyteller. And there's so much, so it's like there's so much going on. There's so many stories that could be being told, but then you have to kind of put that alongside how you protect your own health and the health of your family. You want to make sure that you're not overexposing yourself or overexposing other people, or just exposing period to the virus and to all sorts of things. Normally, I would be on the front lines of the Black Lives Matter movement documenting. I've been doing that for years. Um, I've got a documentary film that's nearly done. It just needs to be broken up a little bit and some final edits done. And I've got so many ideas, but no real direction for how to get the stuff done. And that is like the place where I am. And it's become like increasingly frustrating over the last few days. And so I've pulled out my notebook. I've written down, some things, some ideas about the direction I want to go with my creative work, but with my brand. I finally got my home office set up because I don't typically work from home. I've worked from my office in my office. At the church, because I'm also a pastor. My office at the church is very much built around my creative process, and my ability to create and kind of produce things. And my home office space, it really just became a place to store things. And so finally took a couple of days earlier this week and just got it cleaned out, got everything kind of situated. I'll do maybe an office tour for you guys later, but I've really embraced this whole idea of minimalism in my own life, but also in my professional life, as I am looking at projects, as I'm thinking through the tools that I want to use. I'm a gearhead. I absolutely love it. But to be honest, I've spent a lot of money over the years I didn't need to spend. Probably would do it over again, do it differently if I could do it over again. But I've slowed down and started getting really into a lot of point and shoots, and just really slowing down the creative process and really beginning to understand more and more that if I'm a true storyteller, and I am, that I can do my job and my work without spending a great deal of money, without having a boatload of gear, right? I had a scare a few weeks ago where now almost 2 months ago, where my body just wasn't functioning. Like, my arms weren't working, like everything was in so much pain. My doctors really couldn't figure it out, so I ended up on bed rest for like 6 to 8 weeks. And as I've now come out of that, and I'll talk about that more later, as I've now been able to come out of that, it's really had me rethinking my gear. Like 6 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, I wouldn't have been able to go out and get a story because my tools and my gear was too heavy for me, and I don't ever want to be in that place, right? By now I was supposed to have spent a month in Africa, going through 14 countries. I was supposed to have been back to India, and now just returning from Ethiopia. But the pandemic and the travel bans and all of that kind of stuff have slowed that down, and so. Just, I think, some frustration, and I've got things that could be done. I've got some old stuff as I've been going through and kind of spending the time organizing hard drives and all of that kind of stuff. Got some old stuff that I could put out and produce, which I think is the direction I'm going to go, is to go through and some of my work from the months and years past, particularly last year. Last year was a powerful year for me photographically, and so to be able to produce a lot of that stuff and kind of put it out in some format, and really just thinking through simplistically. Like, I think a lot of times we end up in a slump because we can't see our way toward or to the point of doing something to perfection, right? I've got one of my photo books that I've done. I've got the prototype and it's beautiful. I've got raving reviews from people. It's absolutely beautiful. But to be honest, to produce it in the way that I had the prototype done is way outside of my budget. And so I settled on just not doing it at all. If I couldn't do it the way I want to do it, I'm not going to release it at all. And so it's been sitting on the shelf just looking at me. I've got 2 projects like that that I just haven't released, and a third one that I can be working on. But I just want to get over the slump, and so I wanted to just come on today. I think I'm gonna try to do more live videos as opposed to the editing, because that's the other thing that kind of slows me down in terms of the vlogging and coming using particularly the YouTube platform, is that I love to do video, I love to edit video, but I don't always get it done because I have so many other things. I can sit down in front of a camera though and talk my head off for hours, but doing the cinematic editing and stuff like that, I don't always make time for it. And so to begin just the process of creating the just get started, I'm gonna borrow from Gary Vee, just get started. I'm gonna document and try not to create in this space. Like, this is going to be a creative space. For those of you who don't know what Sarayu is, like, I do a number of things on a number of other different platforms, right? Like I said, I'm a pastor, I'm a business owner, but my passion is storytelling and creating through film and photography. And right now I'm really stuck on photography in some great ways, and so it's what is driving my storytelling passion right now is still photography, and I've been doing it for years. But Sarayu is like my, I won't say it's my brainchild, but it's my heart child. It is the Sarayu is a Hindi word that means a fresh wind, a new wind, right? And it means to create, it means to act, it means to live. And so you'll see it says creativity, action, life. This actually says create, live, dream. This is one of my favorite new sweatshirts that I made. If you have an interest in it, definitely hit me up in the comments and let me know, and we'll get you one sent out. But really just wanting to slow down enough to enjoy life, slow down enough to see life as it is, and then also desire to be like, I've spent so much of my life doing what's been expected of me and running, and rushing to do everything that I've never stopped to really create consistently and in a way that's life-giving to me. And that is what Sarayu is about. It's about being able to see a story and being able to chase it unapologetically, to tell the story the way that I see it, not the way that anybody else thinks it should be seen. And I think that's what we all should be doing as content creators. Over the years, I've created some awesome pieces of content, but I've never been able to, or I've never done the work of establishing any sort of creative consistency. I'll see a story and I'll chase it for months and months on end. I'll complete the project. You guys may never see it, but it's done, and usually that's good enough for me. And I'm feeling that beginning to change, right? As I'm seeking more opportunities to kind of walk out my purpose and what I believe I'm created to do and called to do. Like something's got to give in terms of getting out and doing things and being the opportunity, right. The pandemic is definitely a crisis, but it's also been an opportunity to experience what it's like to slow down, right? To really slow down and enjoy some things. And the frustrating part of that has been for me how I figure out still how to create in the slowdown. And so some of the things I've been doing, like I said, I've been hitting thrift stores. I got a couple videos I'm gonna drop, and I think I dropped one, a thrift video that I made, that dropped the link to in the description box a little later on. But some camera thrifting I've done, picked up some $2 or $3 cameras, dropped a roll of film in them, and I just take it everywhere I go. I take one camera everywhere that I go, and when I'm done, I take the film to be developed. I'm gonna start developing my own stuff soon. But just the slow down process. I stopped wearing my smartwatch and then put on a regular watch because I'm in this creative slump. And so how do I get over this creative slump? And so this is by no means a end all be all solution. This is me opening up for dialogue and conversation because I'm trying to figure it out myself. And so one thing I've done over the last couple of days is I wrote a list of what ifs, right? So what if I did this? What if I did that? I'm trying to find my page in my little notebook. My dog's moving around in the back, y'all, so don't judge me. Trying to find the page in my notebook where I was writing the other day, and I'm finding that disconnecting from my electronics and my media and all of that kind of stuff is incredibly helpful. And so I did a couple. So one what if that's related to this is what if what if I sold all of my Fuji gear for a smaller, more productive setup? What does it mean? So a lot of times, like a lot of us, like because I own a lot of gear, my primary photography system right now is the Fuji system. I have a Fuji X-T10, Fuji X-T20, and I had the Fuji X10 that I just sold, and it was like a point and shoot, and I didn't really care for it, so I sold it a couple of days ago. I did a review on that, but that I no longer have the camera. I wasn't in love with it. It still wasn't that lightweight, pocketable something that I wanted to just be able to toss in my pocket that gave me full manual options, but yeah, it just wasn't what I thought it was going to be. But no big deal. It was worth a try. But what does it look like for me to sell all my Fuji gear so that I can purchase what I need? Well, it doesn't make sense now as I thought through that. It doesn't make sense for me to sell all my Fuji gear and go to a smaller system. So I started looking at some other things I could liquidate and let go of. And I finally settled on the Ryko GR3 camera that I'm going to get as my pocketable point and shoot. And then one of the film cameras, right? But other than that, then my cell phone. But what does it look like? So asking these questions because I'm trying to remove the excuses from myself, if I can, for why I don't create, right? Why is it that I don't consistently create, and why is it that I don't finish? Because a lot of times I'll create, like I'll record buku videos that never get edited and never get uploaded. And so if I've got to go live instead of producing a edited something, then I'm going to try and go live a few times a week here just to begin building audience and community with you guys, and to also get myself used to creating and moving forward and all of that kind of stuff. So so starting with some journaling stuff, right? I'm starting there. Another thing that I need to do is that I want to do is to build income streams so that my storytelling work is self-sustainable. Like I love crowdfunding. I've begun building out my Patreon supporters. I've got some people who support my podcast, and so we've got those things coming in, but I've not done nearly enough in those spaces, and I want to be able to be a photo and video, photo and film storyteller full time. Like I want to be able to do that and it be sustainable, but I've got to be consistent. I believe that I'm good enough at what I do to generate income from it. I believe that people will support, but they can't support if I don't actually produce, right? People will support an idea, but you actually have to produce something from that idea in order. You actually have to be able to support from that idea. How shall I say it? You actually have to be able to produce from that idea. Otherwise, people will stop supporting you, right? And I don't want to be, don't want to be that girl, who says this is the great idea, and people are like, yeah, I'm on board with it, but I never produce from it, right? Because I think we lose credibility in that way. So these are just my first thoughts, and I may try to do this. I don't know how many days a week I'm going to try to do this. But right now I'm just going to come on as I kind of feel like it, as I'm talking through, as I'm finishing stuff. I've got a couple of things on the list that I'm going to try and get finished. There's one that I think is relatively easy to do. I'm going to go into my social media and into a couple of my hard drives and pull all of my photography, my photos, that are my best photos from the protests in Ferguson and Baltimore and a couple of other spaces during that time period that look very much like what's taking place in our city streets now. And from doing that, my hope is to produce at least a small like photo magazine, something maybe using MagCloud, something easy, but just to get it done and to actually produce something. And so I will keep you guys posted as I'm working through that process. I'm going to give myself maybe a week to do it and see what happens. This is Thursday. Let's do that. Let's set a deadline. This is Thursday, June 25th. And so my goal is that by let's look, June 25th. So next Thursday is July 2nd. Goal is that by July 2nd, I will have that done and ready to put up for pre-order, even if it's for like $5 or $6, whatever it is. That I'm not trying to get rich off of it. I just want to complete something. So I'm going to do that. I'm gonna do my best. It's June 25th to July 2nd. Give myself 7 days to go through, because I don't have to create anything new. I've just got to go through and pull down my other stuff and get from there. So anyway, I will talk to y'all soon. Thank you for joining me. Don't have any live viewers yet because I haven't built out this audience. So if nothing more, this is just going to be something for us to come back and watch in some weeks or some months as the audience grows. Hopefully I've been consistent by the time you're watching this, and we can have some real dialogue and conversation. Listen, if you're watching this, if you catch the replay, please hit that like and subscribe button. Please engage in the dialogue. Let me know how you struggle, if you're struggling, if you got any tips and pointers on just being more consistent. Like, this is my struggle. Not that I can't create, not that I don't have the ability or the capability to do some great things, but consistency. I don't want to procrastinate. I don't want to make excuses anymore. I want to push this stuff out. All right. So anyway, thanks for joining. Hope you guys enjoyed. Check out some of the other videos that I've actually edited and posted over the last several months or whatever. And I will continue to try and upload some more stuff for you guys to check out and see. In the meantime, take care. Be safe out here, y'all. Don't be fearful, but be wise. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.